Hello there, everybody. Greetings from Mount St. Helens. I'm on the Hummocks Trail, and it's a beautiful blue sky day in January. And I came up today to clear my mind, get out of my head, and go back to my heart. Because the events of the last few weeks in January of 2025 have felt like kind of an emotional explosion. So I like relating to Mount St. Helens. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Mount St. Helens, the beautiful mountain in the Cascade Mountain Range that blew up in 1980 in a prolific cloud, erasing about 6,000 vertical feet from the mountain. And scientists thought this would never return to any semblance of an ecosystem. And here I am right now in an area where boiling water that had melted the glaciers came rolling down the Toutle River and completely changed the landscape of this area. And over time, of course, obviously you can see things have started growing. And even in the winter season, it's very still here, but it doesn't feel like a volcano erupting and blowing up. And so I'm here today to reflect on that aspect of calm and peace in amidst the volcano and what that means for me today. And I'm here at this pond that's frozen over. It reminds me to look at the parts of me that might be frozen, that might be succumbing to the fear from external things happening, but also fear from what I like to say, the calls coming in the house, and fear from within. And fear from within is really that looks like this ice. It can be paralyzing. It can prevent movement. It can keep my heart frozen. Now, of course, my heart's not frozen. And yet sometimes when I get those pangs of fear, I feel like it as if I'm freezing and I'm stuck. And I find that connecting to nature connections are the way to thaw out the frozen parts of me that are struck by fear. Maybe this resonates with you, maybe it doesn't. No matter whether you feel fear within, it's all around us in our culture today. It's everywhere. Notwithstanding what's happening right now in our culture, for many, many years, we've been in a sea of fear every day. And it shows up in all different kind of ways. You don't have to look very far to see fear. And whether or not you have that feeling inside you or it's an external feeling, it's real. It's a feeling, it's an aspect of being frozen. So there's an element of being frozen that is kind of peaceful because at least it's not moving. At least this scene seems like it's standing still. And yet, there are things bubbling up. The sun is allowing parts of this ice to break through, water to ooze up, and life to come back. I invite you to join me for this nature connection. It's a meditation of sorts. Could be contemplation. And really what it is an opportunity for you to take stock in your inner self. Are there parts of you that might feel frozen? Do you resonate with that metaphor? Are there things around you that might feel frozen emotionally? Because water stands for emotions. And maybe you are taking in influence from things around you that are frozen emotionally. And no matter where you are in your life circumstances, this is an opportunity for you to press pause on that and really just take time to assess what might be happening within your inner self. Water and ice are really wonderful concepts in nature to work with because it's about emotions. And when are we frozen? When are we flowing? And ice isn't necessarily always negative or bad, because sometimes when emotions are moving too fast, freezing them, maybe taking a big deep breath in and a big exhale, and just pausing can be what you need. So frozen ice can be a lot of different things, can be a lot of different symbols. And as you see here behind me, it's this ice dam, and of course the water is starting to melt because the sun's been out, and it's flowing into this brook that's flowing down into the Toutle River. And there's lots of symbolism here. For me, it feels like as I am opening up and accepting that I have fear within me, that sometimes I freeze with that fear, I'm able to look at that, and this water, this ice turning to water flowing is helpful for me to look at how can I warm up the ice, how can I thaw out the freeze and let the water flow. And letting the water flow is a sign of resilience for me. It's like just gonna let it melt, I'm gonna let it flow down the mountain, and we'll see where that water goes. I invite you to take some time with this ice turning to water concept for the next few minutes. Take a big deep breath in, a big exhale. Feel the weight of your body and sit with what it means for you, what ice means for you right now, and what changing the form of water from ice to flowing brook, how it resonates with you. Another aspect of a winter walk that I really enjoy are the long shadows as the sun is low on the horizon, casts different light on the trees, these deciduous trees that are seemingly bare, seemingly quiet and dormant in this winter season. But there's things working underneath the surface everywhere around me, even though it appears dead and dormant. It gives me time to reflect on what's working underneath the surface with me. And when we're working on ice and that aspect of a freeze on the heart, and maybe a thawing, or maybe a freeze in just taking pause, taking in a big deep breath and a big exhale. So no matter how you see this, there's no right or wrong way to do this. There are all these opportunities to connect with nature and connect with these symbols. What do the long shadows of winter mean for you? For me, it means that there's a lot of opportunity to look at the light and the dark, the contrasts, the different parts of me that might harbor the fear, the different parts of me that prefer to be out in the light, like with the sun shining on my face right now. It's exquisite. I invite you to take some time in this next section to sit with what light means for you, what long shadows might mean, and really how does it feel looking at shadows? What resonates in your heart and your feelings? What resonates when you're looking at shadows with your creative thinking, with your ideas? What resonates with your gut instinct, your intuition? It's interesting to me that just 50 feet away, there's an ice dam, and it's melting and it's coming. And as it's melting and it's meandering its way through these clumps of vegetation, moss, cattails, things that are dormant for the winter, it's getting more power. And it comes through this area and it's cutting through rocks. It's making more noise, there's more power, more vigor in it. And it makes me feel like, it gives me a sense of optimism. If I'm really connecting to this scene, it's this example of optimism in all of the aspects of nature that are all around me. Do you feel optimism? Can you relate to the optimism that comes from the melting ice and the water that flows through this brook, through this little waterfall? If you just press pause on daily life, are you able to summon that power from within you to melt the ice and allow the flow of the water? In whatever way that makes sense for you, this could be an opportunity to just take stock in all that you have within you, all the reserves that you have within you, and all the power that you have within you to persevere and be resilient. Just like in nature, from all the things we can see, especially on Mount St. Helens, everything in nature is interdependent. So belonging, like you belong here, you belong in your body. Everything in nature is always changing. We learned that from Mount St. Helens in May of 1980, and then even since then. And even this river, this little brook, is changing. As the water gets power, it moves the bank a little bit here and there, and the beavers dam up the pond so that it freezes. There's all these changes happening all the time. So it means you're resilient. You're part of nature. You are resilient. And then everything in nature has a purpose. Everything you see here has some purpose. It's all connected, and you have a purpose too. I invite you to take some time with this scene and really opening up to all the ways that this can wake you up within. All the ways that metaphor of ice melting into water, kind of trickling and then kind of creating a form of a brook, of a creek, flowing down, cutting through rock, persevering with resilience and purpose. Take a big deep breath in, a big exhale. Feel the weight of your body and allow that fluid, allow that flow within you. And as the sun gets heavy over the hills of Mount St. Helens, in the Mount St. Helens region, I also noticed that all of these dormant trees are all lined up. And it just reminds me that I have opportunities to align all the parts of me with nature and with my own nature. Maybe you have taken inspiration from this as well to continue to look for alignment within the natural world and also within your own nature. And just a reminder that spending 20 minutes a day in a connective state, doing something connective like we just did, in increments every day is enough to make lasting changes in your life in all kinds of ways, from healing to reduced anxiety, lower blood pressure. Please remember to like this, to comment, to share, to watch more videos. And most importantly, I hope that you can find your own nature in a way that makes sense for you in the natural world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.